So, kicking off of day 2, I would love to hear, partly for social accountability, but partly because we're here to learn and grow, biggest takeaways from yesterday. Plus, I told you to make that list of your action items, right? Biggest takeaways from yesterday, most exciting aha moments, favorite parts. Here we go. Who's first? Who's first? Who's the brave one to go first? Was that a hand or a hair adjustment? I get caught. Oh, there's a hand waving. Oh, Diane, yes. Yeah, come up to the microphone. Make your way to the microphone, guys. We'll do 2 or 3.
Well, I was so excited that every speaker talked about the psychological aspect of aging, the mental, the community, which is so important. Sometimes we don't really focus on that, and I believe that's the most important part.
Absolutely, and I think, doing what we do, it's exciting, the practicals of the exercise, because it's something very tangible. And, that the psychological, the mental part of it is so key. Something yesterday that was repeated several times was how important it is to change environment. Right? We talked a lot about environment, how important it is, in the process. And also, variability, right? For the mind, the body. And let's take it out of the context of our clients for a moment and apply that to ourselves. You have to change your environment in order for you to grow mind, body, and spirit. Who was here this morning, by the way, for that devotional? Yeah. Who thought there were going to be tears at conferences like this? By the way, this is Functional Aging Summit. Tears are like inevitable. So if it hasn't happened already, it will surely happen at some point. But how important it is, to introduce variability. And that I think it was Michelle yesterday said, variability to the mind and the body gives you freedom. It offers freedom for other things. And so I hope you remember that as you start planning future conferences or future things outside of your office, outside of the front of your computer screen, how important it is to add variability to your life, to your career, right? Your business will only be as good, it will only develop as much as you develop yourself. Because in essence, your business is you, right? You're the spirit, you're the heart, you're the soul of your business. And I think what Nissan this morning touched on was, he kind of gave us all permission to quit. And how quitting, and I know a lot of you, because I've spoken to a lot of you, how many of you are like in between trying to make a decision of what's next for you? Just take a moment, keep your hands up, look around. That's easily 75% of the room. How many of you are like caught between maybe a corporate job or a job and you're not really sure you're ready to go full time into fitness? Right? It's tough. And sometimes what we have to do, right, is just add the variability, change the environment, and it might be that one thing that inspires us to make that decision, pull the trigger, and go forward. We need that permission. A lot of us the knee-jerk reaction is to look for tangible things that we can add, right? So, I need a business model, or I need a plan or a program, and while those things are important, it was touched on yesterday, we've got to be able to implement them in a way, from a business standpoint, we have to implement them in a way that's going to be leading to a meaningful career. And with that, if I may take a moment, so I started my business about 12 years ago. I came from a corporate background and, worked in Manhattan, did the 2-hour commute on the train every day, and, very quickly rise the ladder of the corporate world. And I very quickly realized it was sucking the life out of me. I was young, I didn't have kids, so it was easy then, except I knew that there was something bigger and greater I had to do. And I very unexpectedly left that job. And when I started, I was an athlete. My dad put me on a squat rack when I was like 10 years old. and I've always loved the fitness. And I said, you know what, now it's time. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna get my certification. And I started my business, and I knew my dad was an entrepreneur, and I said, I knew I wanted to do this for myself, and I want to do it my own way, and created, a vision. And when I started to look outward, Facebook really wasn't nearly what it is now. I started to look outward for ways to help my business, right? Help me as a professional. And it was very limited. Now it's almost overwhelming how much is out there we have to sift through. And the one thing that I found was PFP Magazine, Personal Fitness Professional. How many of you are familiar, aside from like yesterday? Yeah, everybody should raise their hands now because you all got a copy yesterday. But I got this magazine and I said, finally I found a resource that gave legitimacy. It felt legitimate. Because people would ask me, what do you do? Or what are you going to do? And I kind of did this. I'm a personal trainer. Why? Because the public, the consumer's perception of us, nod your head yes, because you know the consumer's perception, unfortunately, has been ruined by those who have no business being in our business because they're not portraying the ethics, the integrity that we all want to give our profession. And it frustrated me. And so I had the opportunity, because I went to conferences like this, and this is why I encourage you, take the risks, make the investment, go to multiple events in person like this, because every marquee moment in my career I can tie to somebody that I met in person at an event. So, and it was very much like this, made a connection, joined a mastermind group. So mastermind, I know it'll be brought up again. Look into those opportunities. And that's how I ultimately ended up as editor of the magazine, I think about 7 or 8 years ago now. And I said, you know what, if there's one little thing that I can do to help up-level the industry, how can I up-level the industry? Because until we change the consumer's perception of us, but we have to be able to do it ourselves, right? How do we add value and worth? How do we tell people what we're charging and be proud of that, right? How can we grow businesses? The attrition rate in this industry is sad. It's pathetic. It shouldn't be that way, especially with the opportunities that are available to us. But we need to be able to grow meaningful careers and businesses for ourselves. And so Personal Fitness Professional, I've found, is really a platform. It's not about, while we talk about some trends in fitness, it's about the career of fitness, the trends in terms of what's next, what's upcoming in the industry, the entrepreneurial spirit of the industry. So it's free. It's all in the magazine, but you can go to personalfitnessprofessional.com, sign up. We send a lot of great information. I am always looking for really great content. You don't have to be a professional writer. If you have something that you believe will resonate with other fitness professionals, something you're doing right, something you're succeeding with in your business, please reach out to me throughout the day or by email. I would love to hear from you. So that's, I hope you all will take your free subscription. It doesn't cost you anything, but a couple moments on the internet. With that, it's a good day. We're getting excited for the day ahead. Awesome. All right. I am going to have, there he is, Dr. Cody Sipe, few words. Few words, not like me.
Just really quickly, so here's we get started to our second day, which, by the way, every time after the first day, you go back, your wife asks, so how was it? And I just have to say, man, it was incredible, right? It was just really good. I loved it. Every year, you go into so much planning and then it finally comes together. And what I think about when we're thinking about presentations is, who do I want to hear? Right? Who do I want to hear? So I loved yesterday. Look forward to today as well. A couple things about FEI, just a few quick update things that I wanted to fill you in on. One, if you want to turn to the front of your little books, right in the little foreword, you're going to see the hierarchy of functional aging. Now, there should be an image there. Yep. So when you look at that image, originally the hierarchy of functional aging was developed by a professor in Texas, and there were 5 levels to it. And we had been using that hierarchy for a while. And in teaching a lot of workshops, teaching a lot of professionals, we just kind of came to the conclusion we needed to kind of break down some of these categories. So originally I had 5 levels. The things that are the same are the elite and then the disabled or dependent levels. Those stayed the same. But what we did is we actually broke out the other levels. So frail broke up into frail and pre-frail. The independent we broke up into lower and higher, and the fit into semi-fit and fully fit. And we are kind of changing a little bit of the content and information and how we're teaching it based on a little bit more refined focus on function. So we talk about tailoring to function. And so what we realized was that if you look at the frail category, there's diversity within that category, right? So if you think of this as a continuum of function, it's not you're in one group or in another group, right? There's a full spectrum of functional ability. And so we're using this new hierarchy in all of our materials to try to refine our focus on, if we look at that honeycomb model, look at those 6 dimensions of functional ability, how do those apply to these different levels of function? So you're going to see more about that. That's a useful model. And we're embedding that now into a lot of our current materials. I wanted you to see that. And with our materials, earlier this year, we relaunched, we had a new website, and so we took that as an opportunity to update the FAS course, and so I spent a lot of time in the course doing things like updating the images and some of the references and the flow of the information and content. And literally what we just realized a couple weeks ago was that after I went through all those updates and did all that, the web team that we had to put the course on the new site used all the old material. So it really has, the updates I thought were in there have not gotten in there. So what we're doing is I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to do some more updates, some more even recent references, research references, systematic reviews, just some more evidence that I'm going to embed in there, plus the flow of the information is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to kind of modify that. Now, if you're already certified, you can just go back in and get that new material and take a look at it. It's not going to be anything distinctly different, but again, continuing to update, continuing to try to stay on top of the research, and also learning how do you want to learn this, right? What is the information that you best want to see in this course that's going to be helpful for you? So we will announce a little bit later on when I go through those additional updates and get that back on, so you can get in there and see it as well. Kind of the last thing is we're pretty excited that we are trying to have an impact, obviously here in the U.S. and in Canada, but also globally and internationally. We've been fortunate that the word is spreading, that we're starting to get more partnerships and getting some more exposure in some other countries. Just last fall, I was able to go to a conference in Norway, to the NIH Active Conference, do a workshop there, do some sessions. That was really exciting. We had never, really been to that part of the world. People take our online course from all different parts of the world, but all English speaking, of course. We only have it in English. We have some partners that are trying to translate it into other languages. But really excited that I just found out yesterday, just got the email, that IDEA, so IDEA World, and the IDEA personal training events, they're very, very big events. They're actually doing an event in Shanghai, China in August, and they just announced it. And they just invited us to come and do a workshop, do some sessions. So we're real excited that quick turnaround, but in August we'll be in China as well. So we're really excited about that and kind of the global impact that's happening. So I just wanted to give you a few quick updates. As we kind of go through the day, I've got a few other people that we're going to get up on stage for a few minutes and kind of key you into some things that are also happening and going on and letting you know about that I think you'd be really interested and excited about.